Hi, this is Faith in Literacy. And if you are interested in learning what are a couple of tools your kids can learn in order to break down vocabulary words when they come across an unknown word in reading, stay tuned because I'm going to give you 5 vocabulary words that we're going to practice breaking down into their roots and affixes, and also taking a look at those words used in a sentence and looking how we can use context clues in order to figure out the meaning of unknown words. So if you have any kids or students in the grades 3 to 5, that's upper elementary, let's take a look at some vocabulary words that they might encounter in their reading and what they can do to help them understand the meaning of these unknown words. So here is the first word. Unpredictable. Let's take a look at first using how we can break this word into its affixes and its root words in order to figure out the meaning of this word. Now, an affix is a prefix or a suffix. Prefixes or suffixes are letters or a letter that is added to either the beginning of a root word, that's a prefix, or the end of a root word, that's a suffix. Now, let's break this word down. Un is a prefix that means not. It comes from Old English, but it is reinforced by Latin. Now, pre is also a prefix. It means before. Again, comes from Latin. Now, dict, D-I-C-T, again, comes from Latin, and it is a root word that means to say or to speak. Now, able, A-B-L-E, is a suffix. Once again, comes from Latin that means capable of or able to be. So if your kids can break this word up into its affixes and its root, then they can get a general meaning of the word. So here we have not before, say or speak, or capable of, or being able to. So they can use this to basically get the impression that this word means not capable of or not being able to say or speak before. Not being able to foretell something. So not being able to say beforehand. Now, we can also take a look at this word in a sentence, and let's see how we can use context clues in order to figure out a meaning of a word. So in this sentence, it says, the mountain's weather was unpredictable. One moment the sky was sunny, but the next it turned into a storm without warning. So in this sentence, we have our word unpredictable. So how can your kids use the sentence to figure out its meaning? Well, let's take a look at what's going here. We know that it's talking about weather, right? In this case, the mountain's weather. And it's giving what's called a contrast clue. Because one moment it's sunny, but the next moment there's a storm. And so here we have a sudden change. And so using these words, kids can get an idea that the weather is unpredictable, which means that it can change in an instant, right? Without warning. So that can be another clue. So either way, kids can break down this word into its affixes and roots in order to gain an understanding, but they can also possibly use the sentence by breaking down the sentence, looking for clues to see what that word means. So unpredictable means to not being able to say or speak something before it happens. Now, I'm Faith and Literacy. If you want more of these, check out part 2, where I'm going to be taking a look at another word. And if you like these, let me know in the comments, and I'll do more videos looking at morphological analysis, being able to break down words into its prefixes, suffixes, or root words, also being able to look at context clues in order to help kids understand the meaning of words. I'm Faith and Literacy, and I'll check you later.